we've got the gasket cleaned up there, and now we are going to put the stator on. So we've got the stator here, the new one that we will set in there. And you want to just line those holes up. This obviously is going to go underneath here. And this is going to be turned. I like to take a little bit of Honda Bond, put it on this. There's no gasket to seal this area down here, and probably not a big deal, but since we're there, we may as well put some on there. And that'll just kind of seal that up really good. Just want to make sure that goes all the way down. And we're going to take and clean that up, because that gasket's going to go right over top of that. And that'll get squeezed down when we put it. Now the other thing that I do, since everything is kind of, this is all, flywheel is moving really fast in there. So I thread lock these just so for some odd reason this comes apart, doesn't get into that flywheel. So that we just put thread lock on there so peace of mind knowing that these bolts aren't going to come out. These are small going into this aluminum case, so no reason to get really hard on tightening those down. And then one of these, there are 5 holes here. One of them lines up with an oil orifice there, so just make sure you're not covering that. Make sure there's no debris down in there. After you get done cleaning the gasket, blow it through everything with compressed air. Clean it up just so we don't have a problem with gasket material down in that oil line there. All right, now we're ready to set that gasket on. This gasket comes with this set. Slide that on there. There's 2 dowel pins here will hold this on while we take it over to put on. While we're here, I will show you how we did that test so you can see it maybe a little more clear. So just turn it to ohms there, and then test the 3 yellow wires with each other. We got a 0.7. 0.7. 0.7. So those are good. Now, see the difference on this next one here. It's a 191.9. So remember the other one was open when we tested the other one here. This is the old one now, and it's open. Okay, so there was our problem. And we can see there, and no damage when you look at it visually, the old one, no damage there. So that's why it's important to do those tests, not just visibly look at it, to be able to see. All right, we will go put this in. Get ready to fire it up. We've got the starter gears in place there. Try to keep the gasket I hold the gasket on with 2 fingers there. Again, the starter gears are in place. Make sure that those stay there. Your cover won't go on smooth if those gears are out of place, and they might cause a problem anyways. And that, since that flywheel is, everything's magnetic here. It sometimes creates a bit of a challenge to get this back on. Alright, now get those starter gears lined up. Make sure everything's out of the way there. Make sure you can kind of see that blue gasket all the way around, and up top there it's going to be held away from there. And I'm going to take and put in a couple bolts to pinch this down. Again, remember the brass washers are going on there. And then we've got the longer ones that will go. One goes right here underneath kind of that starter drive. One goes up here by the stator wires coming out of the case there. They're pretty obvious where these bolts go. There's just some places that they the long ones won't go, so it's pretty obvious. Sometimes the manufacturer will make them so bolts are close to the same size, and it's hard to know for sure unless you mark them. But this one here is pretty obvious. And then we've got the one with the clamp on it there. We'll go up top here. That kind of holds that gear position sensor wire out of the way there. Again, the 4 bolts on the bottom of that case there have the brass washers, so remember that. All right, then we will tighten these back up and we'll get ready to fire it up, but that is how you replace the stator pulsar on a Honda Big Red 700.